Welcome, automation enthusiasts. Today we are talking about the while loop in Python. A loop in programming is a mechanism that allows you to repeat a series of instructions several times automatically. As long as a condition is true, the loop continues to perform the same action. This avoids having to rewrite the same code several times. Let's start with the infinite loop. Imagine that you are designing a program to control a dancing robot. The program tells him to dance over and over, but he never stops because he was never instructed to stop dancing. Hence the concept of infinite loop. An infinite loop is when a program repeats the same action over and over again without ever stopping. Okay? In Python, we use the while concept to control this type of repetition. Example, here is how to write our program which will control our robot and ask him to dance. To do this, type while true, okay? So, in other words, do this over and over again without stopping, okay? So, do this over and over again until I tell you to stop. So, while true, print robot dancing. Perfect. Okay. So if we run our program, see what happened. Click on the run button here. Perfect. As you can see, the condition is always true. Okay. The instruction will always repeat itself, so the loop will never stop. Okay. You can see here in the terminal. We can use infinite loop in certain cases or situations, for example, in terms of interactive application, particularly video games or graphical interface, use control infinite loop to refresh the screen. But in most of cases, not recommended to use infinite loop. For example, it can lead to an increase in the memory use, causing a crash. An infinite loop can crash the interface, making the application unusable. As you can see here in the terminal, the instruction robot dancing will never stop, okay? The instruction will always repeat itself again and again. The robot will therefore continue to dance indefinitely. For him to stop dancing, we will need to add a condition or instruction to tell him to take a break or stop. The break statement in a while loop. The break statement allows you to exit a while loop early, even if the loop condition is still true. Let me ask you if you want the robot to dance. For that, type input do you want the robot to dance? Yes or no? Perfect. Notice that in Python, we call the input function to receive input from the user. It allows the program to pause and wait for the user to type something which is returned as a string. Okay, do you want the robot to dance? Now, we need to store the user response in a variable. We will create a new variable called answer, and that variable will keep the user response. Okay, do you want the robot to dance? Now, we are going to use conditional structure if, elif, and else. For those who are not familiar with the conditional structure if, elif, and else, I invite you to watch my previous video where I easily explain to you how to use this conditional structure. Now, if the answer is no, we need to print robot stop dancing. Then we need to use the break statement here. Type break. Okay, so if the user type no as a response, the program will stop and we exit the loop. Okay, if the answer is equal to yes, what will happen? We will print robot continue to dance. Okay, robot continue to dance. Okay, else which means if the user types something else other than yes or no, then we need to print comment not valid. Please choose yes or no. Perfect. So let us run our program and see what happened. Please remember that the loop here is done on this command. The instruction will always repeat until the loop encounters the break instruction. Okay, so click on the run button here. Do you want the robot to dance? Okay, if I enter an answer other than yes or no, normally this message should be displayed, comment not valid. If I enter something else, then I press enter, comment not valid. Please choose yes or no. Perfect. Do you want the robot to dance? Okay. The loop here is done on this command. The instruction will always repeat until the loop encounters the break statement. Do you want the robot to dance? Now, I will answer yes in uppercase. Yes, then I press enter. Comment not valid. Please choose yes or no. Normally, this message should have been displayed. Why is this not the case? Please pause the video for 5 seconds and give me the answer in the comment. I want to read you. Perfect. Now we can continue. Note that we need to use the lower method in Python. The lower method in Python is used to convert all characters in the text string to lowercase to prevent the program from differentiating between yes in uppercase, yes in lowercase, no in uppercase, or no in lowercase. By converting everything to lowercase, the program can understand all of these variations as being the same thing. We need to adjust our code. We need to add the lower function, that lower answer dot lower here, then answer dot lower. Perfect. Then we need to rerun our code. Click on the run button. Stop and rerun. Perfect. Do you want the robot to dance? We will start again. If I enter something different from yes or no, normally I should have this message. Comment not valid. Perfect. Do you want the robot to dance? Now I will answer yes in uppercase. Yes. Perfect. Now we have the good message. Robot continue to dance. Do you want the robot to dance? If I now type yes in lowercase, perfect. Robot continue to dance. This instruction will always repeat until the loop encounters the break instruction. Okay, so do you want the robot to dance? If now I answer no, I will have the print statement, then the program will stop because of the break instruction. Okay, so do you want the robot to dance? Let me continue again. Yes. Do you want the robot to dance? Yes. Do you want the robot to dance? Yes. Now, if I want to exit the loop, I need to answer no. Okay? Do you want the robot to dance? No. Robot stop dancing and the program exit the loop. Perfect. Apart from the break statement, you can control a while loop in other way. For example, imagine a machine that spins endlessly to make chocolate. We want our machine to stop after producing or making 5 chocolate. Here's how to do this. First of all, we need to create a new variable called chocolate counter that equal to 0. Perfect. So here we initialize the chocolate counter. We start with 0 chocolate made. Okay. Now we need to use the while loop. Why the chocolate counter is less than 5. Okay. So we need to specify the condition. Why the chocolate counter is less than 5? We need to increase the value of the chocolate counter by 1. You can write in 2 ways. For example, chocolate counter equal to chocolate counter plus 1. Okay, it is like assigning a new value to our variable chocolates. Here, we increase the value of the chocolate by 1. So you can write this in this way, or you can use plus or equal operator as a shorthand. Okay, let me comment this line. So you can write this in this way, or you can simply increase or increment the chocolate using this operator plus equal to 1. Okay, so this line and this line is the same thing. Here we increase the value of chocolate counter by 1. Okay, then inside our while loop we need to print, for example, inside the while loop, okay, we need to print the chocolate number, okay, then the chocolate counter. So inside the loop, chocolate number is, then we need to specify the chocolate counter. Then we need to add the number of chocolate counter made. Okay. Then outside the while loop, we need to print, or you can even type else, print outside the while loop the machine stop after making 5 chocolate. Perfect. Don't worry, I will explain to you. Let us run our code. I will explain to you. Don't worry. Click on the run button here. Okay, let me explain to you. At the beginning, you create a new variable called chocolate counter that equal to 0. Okay, here we initialize, or we are initializing the chocolate counter. We start with 0 chocolate made. Okay, now we want our machine to stop after producing or making 5 chocolate, exactly 5. So we use the while loop That loop will continue as long as the counter is less than 5. When this condition is true, okay, the program will execute what is inside the while loop. If this condition becomes false, now this message will be printed at the end. Okay, so initially we have 0 chocolate. Initially we have 0 chocolate. Okay, now we say to the program that add one chocolate, okay, to the number of chocolate. So 0 plus 1 equal to 1. That's why in the first round, the first chocolate will be produced. Okay. Don't forget that the objective is to make 5 chocolate. Now we move on the second round. Okay. We need to add one more chocolate to the total number of chocolate already made. Okay. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2. 2 chocolate will be produced. Perfect. Let us continue to the third round or the third iteration. Now in the third iteration, we still need to increase the value of the chocolate by 1. Okay? So in the third round of the 2, you add 1 more chocolate. Then 2 plus 1 equal to 3. Now in the third round, 3 chocolate will be produced. Okay? So the loop will continue until the chocolate counter reach 5 exactly. Okay? So at the 6, the condition becomes false. At the 6, the condition becomes false, so the loop stops by itself. Okay? So every time this condition is filled, the instruction inside the while loop will be executed. Okay? So we have 5 chocolate to produce. We will increment until 5 chocolate will be produced. When this condition is no longer true, now the loop will execute the instruction inside the else statement. That's why here you have outside the while loop, the machine stops after making 5 chocolate. Okay? Now we are talking about nested while loop. Nested while loop are when a while loop is placed inside another while loop. I repeat, nested while loop are when a while loop is placed inside another while loop. Nested while loop are perfect for handling tasks that need to be repeated on several levels at the same time. For example, if you want to introduce this chocolate into boxes, okay, we need to use the nested while loop. Okay, I'm going to remove this line, then remove the comment. We are going to make our code simple. Okay, in our example, we are going to make 2 boxes, and in each box add 5 chocolate. Okay, we are going to introduce this chocolate into 2 boxes. Okay, I repeat, there will be 5 chocolate per box. We just need to copy this code and place it inside another while loop. Okay, then we need to change the variable of the first loop. For example, here we rename number of boxes. Okay, we need to produce boxes, and inside each box 5 chocolate will be produced. So we will have 2 loops. The first one will be an external loop and the second one will be an internal loop. Now for the external loop, let me change the variable name. So we create a new variable called number of boxes. Why the number of boxes is less than 2? Because we want to produce 2 boxes. Okay, we need to increase the number of box, okay, same thing here. So we need to increase the number of boxes, okay. Inside this loop, 5 chocolate will be produced. Pay attention. Here we have 2 loop, okay. We have 2 while loop, okay, an external loop, okay. The machine starts by making a box. This loop manages how many boxes are made. Here we need to produce 2, okay. Then we have an internal loop, okay. Once a box is created, the inner loop fills that box with 5 chocolate. So the inner loop follows a detailed process. Fill each box, okay. The inner loop will add chocolate to each box, okay. Okay, so here we are talking about nested while loop when a while loop is placed inside another while loop. We have an external loop, okay, that will create 2 boxes, then an internal loop that will create 5 chocolate. Let us run our code. Click on the run button here. Perfect. As you can see, we have 2 iterations, okay. In the first iteration, the machine will produce the first box, okay. So since the number of boxes is 0, at the first iteration, the machine will produce the first boxes. That's why we are incrementing the number of boxes by 1, okay. Then, before moving to the second iteration, the program needs to complete what is inside the while loop. So the program needs to execute what is inside the while loop before moving to the next iteration, okay. So in the first iteration, the program will produce the first box, then 5 chocolate will be produced inside the first iteration, okay. Then in the second iteration, the program will produce the second box, then 5 other chocolate will be produced, or 5 other chocolate will be added inside the second boxes, okay. 5 chocolate will be added inside the second box. So remember, every time we talk about nested while loop is when a while loop is placed inside another while